All right, this is a little bit of a tricky question here. Now, first and foremost, you'll notice that I've got two questions up on the screen, and that is because this is an evidence pair. Even though the first question has a line reference, there's still more line references in the second question. And this is just a reminder that no matter what you're given, you should always kind of be aware of the next question and kind of the surrounding questions. Just the reading section, it's in your interest to think ahead a little bit. Because a lot of the strategies revolve around knowing what's coming next. And so, just keep it in mind, and then suddenly you'll notice that, they're going to have to do both of these questions at once, right? There's a slightly different way we would think about a line reference question than a evidence pair question. And so for this one, we're not just going to read the lines that they tell us in the question and then go to the answer choices. We're going to read the other line references down here in number 25. So we've got to make sure it's going to really help us to read those line references. This is a tricky question. So what are we going to do? First, let's make sure we know what we want. We want to know the perspective of the environmentalists on conventional agriculture. And so this is another thing that we have to think about a lot of times in SAT science passages. Who's talking, or who are we talking about? So sometimes the author has an opinion, and then the author cites other people who have maybe slightly different opinions. And so we always want to be aware of who we're talking about. So we can go to the line 27, we can see what they say here. Of course, that's not how most environmentalists regard their arugula, a leafy green. They have embraced organic food as better for the planet. So really within a sentence, we know environmentalists are probably pro-organic, and anti-conventional. Running out of space. Okay. Now, before I look at the answer choices 24, I'm going to go down to number 25, and I'm going to try to read these lines and see, does anything support that? And weirdly, yes. I mean, the first two choices are kind of what we just would have read anyway. So that's helpful, right? So 27, 28, of course, that's not how most environmentalists regard their arugula, leafy green. It's talking about the environmentalists, but it's not really saying what their opinion is. It's kind of in this weird way talking about it, but I'm not going to eliminate it because it does talk about these people, so we'll keep it in. But the second sentence is much more informative. They have embraced organic food as better for the planet and healthier and tastier too than the stuff produced by agricultural corporations. So this is the kind of line that tells me that they prefer organic food. Okay. But let's keep going. We don't know if that's the answer. There might be something better. 31 to 35. Environmentalists, so we're still talking about the right people. Let's see. Disdain the enormous amounts of energy needed and waste created by conventional farming, while organic practices, foregoing artificial fertilizers and chemical pesticides, are considered far more sustainable. So notice it's not just about being pro or organic or not. There's other elements of it, right? Why are they pro-organic? Because it saves energy, the enormous amounts of energy needed for conventional farming. So when they were asked about their views on conventional farming, I might write here that it wastes energy as a little bit of a shorthand. And then 42 to 45, all the way down here, more land is therefore needed to produce fewer crops, and that means organic farming may not be as good for the planet as we think. Now, this is where you got to be careful. We've moved on from the environmentalists here. We're not talking about them anymore. This is the authors talking. We can kind of look back. Yet a new meta-analysis in Nature, so someone else has done this meta-analysis, does the math and comes to a hard conclusion. So this is definitely wrong because it's talking about the wrong people. So I don't really even care about its conclusion. It's not what the environmentalists would say. So now let's go back to question 24 and really look at the words in these choices and make sure we understand what we're supposed to have found in the line references. So what are their views on conventional agriculture? It produces inferior fruits and vegetables and is detrimental to the environment. Well, so the tone is right? This is a negative view of conventional agriculture, so that matches. Let's just keep that as the only thing for now, right? Why do more work? If all the other choices are positive, it's going to have to be this no matter what. B, it is energy efficient and reduces the need to convert wilderness to farmland. So that's positive on the conventional agriculture, so that's wrong. That's not what the environmentalists would say. So there you go. Tone is all we needed to get rid of that choice. It is good for the environment only in the short run. Well, You could maybe interpret that as neutral, right? It's good in the short run, bad in the long run. But even the fact that they say good at all is a problem because we did not get that in any of these lines, right? Disdain the enormous amounts of energy that's wasted. So we don't want any positive ideas. Indeed, it depletes critical resources but protects wildlife habitats. Well, this part looks good, depletes critical resources, right? That's negative. But this part that's positive, again, I don't remember them saying anything positive about it. So what did we just use here? Well, we created dumb summaries of these choices to compare them with our kind of dumb summary of the lines, that they are not in favor of conventional agriculture. And so that's leading me towards A. Now, this is where, we have to be a little bit more, less dumb, I guess, right? Our dumb summary only gets us so far because we need to make sure we pick the right line reference. So the general tone is enough to get question 24. But at least 3 of the line references in number 25 seem to include that same negative tone. So we have to make sure we're picking the one that supports the more specific point that choice A is making, right? Let me even choose a different color here. Inferior fruits and vegetables and bad for the environment. So let's go now back to those line references, and we're looking specifically for that. Inferior fruits and vegetables, bad for the environment. So what does it say in line reference A, which was right here? Of course, that's not how most environmentalists regard their arugula. Well, it doesn't say anything about how it affects the environment and whether it produces good or bad fruits and vegetables. It's just like kind of a general lead-in statement. And I had thought that wouldn't be enough before, but now we have confirmation. 28 to 31, that's right here. They've embraced organic food as better for the planet and healthier and tastier too than the stuff produced by agricultural corporations. So it's not the same words, right? And in fact, it's kind of flipping the meaning a little bit, right? Choice A in 24 is saying that conventional agriculture makes worse fruits and vegetables, worse food, and is bad for the environment. Line reference B is saying that organic agriculture makes better food for the environment, and it's better quality, right? It's healthier and tastier. So it's flipping the meaning. That doesn't mean it's wrong. In fact, it's got the right ideas. It's kind of making us do a little bit more of the work than we're used to. So I don't love it, but let's look at choice C and see if that's any better. 31 to 35. Oh, it's already marked. Environmentalists disdain the enormous amount of energy needed and waste created by conventional farming, while organic practices, foregoing artificial fertilizers and chemical pesticides, are considered far more sustainable. So that seems to talk about the environment, right? Energy, waste, the chemical pesticides, sustainability. It's a lot of stuff about environment. But it's missing this crucial idea that the fruits and vegetables themselves are worse. And that is talked about here. So that's why this one's so tricky. Because the right answer to me does not jump off the page as being right. We've got to do a little bit of work. But by starting with a dumb summary, the most basic version of what we're reading, we can at least get half the question right without any real deep thought, right? I mean, positives and negatives, anyone can do that. Start with that. It helps you narrow your focus. And then narrowing our focus is really what we need to do to get the rest of this question right. We need to think about the specific words that are included in that answer choice A so that we can look for those specific ideas in the line references. 3 of the line references match the tone, but only 1 matches the specific ideas that are being requested of us in that answer choice. And so that's what makes this tricky. Is it's a little bit more work than we're used to, but the strategy is the same as it always is, and it gets us our answer eventually. We just need to kind of ping pong back between the questions a little bit more. That's okay. It happens occasionally in the test. Be ready for it, and you'll still get the questions right.